Life is a series of choices that send us up different roads. In the Stoicism of popular philosophy practiced by Marc Aurèle and Sénèque, for example, there are useful views that can help to make decisions with great consequences in our life. In this expedition, we will provide you with 10 other suggestions that are more sound-based alternatives for your journey and might actually alter the course. These are not decisions to be taken lightly. They should have been deliberated on carefully and explore the ideas of Stoicism into offering a life full of wisdom, strength, virtue. Today, we are beginning an adventure in exploring and steering our energy by talking about 10 commandments of life from the Stoicist's perspective that might mean most to you. Don't forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Get me news to 1. Avoid loss of time. Now there are valuable chances to take advantage of every day, but with the spirit for postponing and not really wanting or even being able to do certain things, either fail at all. Stoicism gives us an easy way to identify these barriers and a hand in overcoming them over time, repeatedly faster. Sénèque's wise words force us to reflect on. The largest waste of life is to delay decisions until later. Sénèque gives us a way of knowing performance in every moment by following dreams and monitoring tasks day after day. None of us need to waste this privilege that comes in being alive, which is itself a factor no longer conquer with the aid of way-ever complacency and slothfulness. Photo, pricey reader, of an unsinkable ship embarrassing port and cruising without course or luxurious. Likewise, whilst we throw in the towel and succumb to dissatisfaction, we allow time visit waste like air without motive. But every day must be seen as person life reviews too often provided Sénèque. If one of these lifestyles been worth being lived, we demonstrate our mastery of time itself by doing each and every venture fast. As the Roman Emperor Marc Aurèle famously wrote in his Meditations, that anything is done or has happened as its effect should be apparent from itself within a brief time. There is no any way you want to live your presence like this. Your decisions, thoughts and words from now determine all about how and what we will do with life. Its ambiguity forces us to behave with goal recently. If we wish no longer to lengthen the inevitable destiny, as soon procrastination loses its energy of persuasion. 2. Well-managed emotions. On iron tracks of LA life, quick love lives once in a while, tapestry of life in hairweave Los Angeles in a stress, bounce around coast to coast. With Casio's unplugged emotion always hitchhikes, wind gusts jump ship, waves run amok, and wait for. It is from this barely audible voice of antiquity that we rediscover the true direction on where to steer our ship. In other words, how exactly you process your emotions as they inform you which way through the storm. Our emotions can come from our thoughts, and even more important is that the source of this river of emotion comes directly from the foundation stone. These are inaccurate and distorted emotions. Whichever the case may be, do take some to check our emotions' authenticity against what really happened and how much we have added in the stories due to those moments. As Marcus Aurelius would write in his Meditations, very few things are necessary for a fulfilling life. It all lies within yourself, your way of thinking. For anything else, this recommendation implies that our neural loops frame the emotional foliage. Control internal communication, which will help how to be in control and manage, when dealing with other emotions, the emotional landscape, towards resilience. Now, picture all those rivers of emotions in your country. You are this water manager and you can point where it goes. Bold is free, said Seneca. Greater freedom is feeling liberated with our own feelings, which we have subordinated to higher targets. And it is only because we easily look down on where we hit the ground or shine a light onto our footsteps. Seneca's expression, that we cry to you, my lost time, and we act as if it is something without a limit. We move forward. Let's keep our eyes on the road ahead instead of looking back at what has been accomplished. This reminder of the fleeting life in our judgment, right or wrong, should inspire you concerning your thoughts. 4. Take care of others. Think of LA life as a huge orchestral composition in which every individual is like its own sound. A precise melody that remains resilient throughout time. When we come together in this symphonic piece, play our individual melodies. We are the waves of a single sea, one branch from the same tree, one flower in this garden. Whether we like to admit it or not, all of us reside in one intricate system that can be interconnected and dependent on each other. Perspective is everything in life. If you think big, nothing will break your spirit. We form our own ideas and feelings as we grow, but in the same way that other great works of art comes into existence through act of compassion, so too does a compassionate work. Think of a smile you shared with someone you do not know, something simple that could make the day better when they come to it. Think of yourself as a gardener that tends to the human garden. Every flower needs attention and care. So does each soul, and one should, with delight, cheerfully and without hesitation in nobility of who gives it tact to our fingers. Think back to those times when a person's act of kindness and consideration lifted your spirit. Your behaviors create the same. You provide hope to others through compassionate chances, the same way a lighthouse guides ships through treacherous waters. In these interactions, you striking for the soul's growth in one another as well as exploring yourself. 5. Put your attention and efforts to what you have a say over. Picture living in Los Angeles as a ship out at sea. Wind and waves mirror the unpredictability of your life, while a ship's rudder mirrors the choices you make in your moves. Just as a seasoned sailor shifts the helm to steer through storms, you can also concentrate on your movements and responses. So imagine you are anxious because of something extra internal, like this scary enough storm off in the distance. Your storm is solved and turns into little showers when you center with your own reaction. Just as a good gardener tends to his garden, you can tend your mind with the seeds of happiness and propriety. For each new dawn or every daily sunrise, routine you can count on. Similarly, surface-level violence you can push back by mastering your internal power. The ancient Stoic thinkers called this power a city without walls, refuge that you can build with your conscience stoked by thoughts and deeds. Recall a time that you were up against something overwhelming, but you have managed to fix it, thanks to your dedication and consistency. This principle is rooted in the philosophy of Stoicism. How you cannot control that which presents itself before its time or under another name, like a piece of marble, served up only dissimilarly for different potential expressions by your sculptor. 6. Be ready to look foolish. That is a wall. It similarly keeps new experiences at bay and help us grow. Roman Stoics remind us that true growth in knowledge often comes just beyond what we once knew and even expected of ourselves, a process which may first require looking like a fool or idiot. Rule number 1 is a calm mind. Rule number 2, direct observational understanding. At the same time, like an intrepid explorer of unknown lands, we can expose ourselves to our own fear from shame and carry on in authority. Like the artist striking broad strokes on a canvas early on in his painting, his first movements appear chaotic and unconscious. But once this painting goes one step further, it turns out to be a better piece. Similarly, when we are prepared to look like an idiot in the short run, we give our potential a chance and allow for growth in our capability. Recall a moment in your professional life when you were reluctant to share ideas or reflections aloud within the group. When you get over this indecision and join the discussion those concepts add to other practices will be great for us all. 7 attempts at challenges. Challenges, they are the sticks that become the meanings of our pole. Instead, as the Stoics unfold, such thinkers as Seneca or Marcus Aurelius, we actively seek challenge not because it is necessary harder, but that this path leads to our growth and thriving. Consider, our muscles grow strong under resistance, and so too must the mind or spirit be pressed to realize their full potential. It is quite accurate what the wise Seneca declared. Obstacles train your brain, and work trains the body. You are the carver, and you carve your character. Resilience, hardiness, when faced with challenge as one would a statue out of marble. Really, when we think about learning a new skill, initially, it feels strange and irritating. The latter only ensures proficiency and completion. Because the smaller successes do accumulate, and bullying is now more apt to be seen as normal. This, my dear fools, is the way we move forward. Marcus Aurelius quotes, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way comes the way." This is the path that bothers me. Adversities are not challenges to overcome, chances for taking. They are just impediments to our forward movement and eternally burden any chance at comprehension. These safe zones are like buckets, and indoors they seem to be solid, but our safety is also putrefying inside. The storms we have faced become nothing but a part of our journey. The waves and wind are only taking us to new destinations on this vast ocean called life. 8. Accept what is important. When you wake up in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, and then another day. Marcus Aurelius. This is a simple lesson to learn as T describes, but it is also one of the most profound. You see, we are constantly on the move with this fast-paced world and whatnot that sometimes attracts stress upon us, which makes our perspective often forgets about being alive itself. Accepting life privileges is a yes to life. Seneca says, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but many of us throw much life away. The little things, the short questions and concerns, this all meaningless activities which we have never cared." We have to be very careful about what we let in. Maybe it does. Does anything mean something? 1 year, 5 years, or in 10 years will the impact be great? Saying yes to what matters is understanding and believing that time carries equity across all the moments, from most precious to least. For every yes choice, we make a no decision as well. Life not too short? Listen to the Stoic, trim space, live with purpose, and concentrate on what matters. Every moment life actually is, in fact, a gift. Act this learning, reaffirm the important, and live a significant life. Both your feelings and your heart will thank you. 9. To be consistent. Do as Marcus Aurelius said, "You do not control external events, only your thoughts. Know that, and you are in control." What is he trying to say? Life takes an unexpected turn from the time, but everything does not always go as planned. That is life. But we can always control how we react to these situations, and that is where punishment plays a role. And if we train our mind to be calm and unfazed by any calamity that comes along the path of life, everything else will just fall in place. Because of the above reason, according to Seneca, we are actually whatsoever things on which in general our mind is engaged. Actions and decisions point us to what we will be easily. If we choose discipline now, despite feeling uneasy at first, this is the base of our life truly being built. Discipline is not only about working a lot or having to follow instructions, but also realizing that we are in charge. Be life-guided or direction taken by it. Discipline gives us a purposeful, meaningful life. 10. But do not give your life to the pain. It is such a long journey of life that being sufferer can be seen very soon. Many of us worry about things that may never happen in the future, and this makes it harder for our lives. And it is in these cases that the wisdom of Stoicism can do its job. As arguments written by Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, injury are generally apprehended to us more than they really afflicted, and we do not enough trust fact, but most in our dreams. The majority of our suffering comes from either what we are doing in the moment, or alternatively those thoughts about how things could be. Our thoughts run possible stories in our minds, instead of living daily where we have peace. As the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius writes in Meditations, you do not need to spend figuratively visualizing your whole life, nor storing up and remembering all various painful problems faced last years that may be revisited again this year, a more complex path than previously walked. That means tackling issues as they come up, not worrying about what problems may accumulate over time. In conclusion, we have examined the top 10 most Stoic lifestyle choices together. Taking care of business, not tormenting ourselves in advance, stop wasting time, take responsibility for our emotions, keep grounded by focusing on the next step, caring about others, especially being present to what is ours under control. We can transform our lives by accepting the notion of looking like a fool and chasing after challenges. I hope you enjoyed this Stoic Principles survey. Then like the video, subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content, and share with your friends. We rely on your help to do this work. Thank you for joining us in our pursuit of a life filled with learning and perseverance. Keep it stoic and keep your head up. New philosophical insight will follow as soon I have caught up with you later on.